One thing you got to watch out for is that you need the lead weight hanging just under the ropes. If it's too far up, then when you throw it, it'll go through the ropes and tangle everything, and if it's too far down, then it'll scrape across the ground. So you can fix that by kind of rotating it back and forth with your hand. When you're throwing it, you want to get a sense for the weight of it and throw it with your whole body. If you screw up, sometimes you can try and whip the rope over with your arm while it's in flight, but it usually doesn't work. Sometimes when you throw it over the other heaving line, it can wrap around twice and get stuck, which can be a real pain because then you have to walk out there, untangle it, and pull it back. But sometimes, if you're lucky, you can just whip it to loosen it enough that you can yoink it over without pulling the bar along. You don't want to spend an excessive amount of time coiling the rope. Some ships have a tradition of spending like upwards of 5 minutes coiling the rope every single time they throw the heaving line. But that's a bad idea if you're training, because see, if you only got, say, an hour to train and you're taking 5 minutes to coil it each time, you're only going to get like 9 or 10 throws in max. So when you're practicing, you want to just yeet the thing up into a reasonably orderly coil and then chuck the darn thing. When you're going to competition, though, it's a different story because you get as much time to coil as you want. So if you're actually at Rendezvous or AMR, take your time, make those coils downright perfect. When you're throwing, you want your palm facing towards the target. Your natural instinct will be to have your thumb pointed up towards the target, but you don't want that because it'll cause the ball to tend to left. So turn your right hand at a 90-degree angle such that your thumb is pointing away from you and toss it that way instead. Now, as for coiling it, you want to hold just a little bit in your left hand, and if it's tangled, you got to twist it back and forth with your right hand like a motorcycle. You want reasonably clean coils about the same size. If you're not sure whether to make them too long or too short, you want coils that are too short. They can't be scraping across the ground or you'll totally bungle the whole thing. When you do finally throw it, you want to skip up. You sort of jump and throw it at the same time so that you can add the energy of your body moving forward to your arm tossing the thing. The more coils you have in your right hand, the farther it'll fly, because that way the ball doesn't have to drag the rope with it on account of the fact that you're tossing the rope as well. Some people like to split the coils so that you have some in your left hand, some in your right hand. That's okay. I've never been a fan of it myself. Another way you can do it is to put the coils in your left hand and the ball in your right hand and throw them separate-handed. Problem with that is you can't turn your shoulders into the throw because you'll be facing both shoulders towards the other target. So what I like to do is stick all the coils in my right hand and twist my body when I'm tossing like a baseball pitcher. I think that's the best way to do it. I got nothing else. What's your best lizard impression?
I still won't stop.
Don't stop believing. To coil it, you want to hold it like a bar with your arms parallel and your palms facing towards the ground. And then you bring your right hand to your left hand. You sort of punch your left palm a couple of times and twist it like a motorcycle is needed with the right hand to make them nice, clean circles. Take your time at competition. but not at practice. You want your right, take it back a step. You want your right index finger trailing along the last line, the one that's most directly connected to the ball, because that way you can tell where the darn weight is. If you don't have your index finger trailing along like that, it can be very hard to tell when to release the rope.